Hi there. My name is Matthew. I'm the pastor of Grace Lutheran Church in Boulder, Colorado. And today's devotion starts with the psalm for the daily lectionary for today, which, as I'm recording this and publishing it, is July 7th, 2020. You could watch it any time after that, but anyway, the devotion lectionary text for today is Psalm 131. O Lord, my heart is not lifted up, my eyes are not raised too high. I do not occupy myself with things too great or too marvelous for me. But I have calmed and quieted my soul. Like a weaned child with its mother, my soul is like a weaned child that is with me. O Israel, hope in the Lord from this time on and forevermore. So here we are in early July, having been quarantining in this country since the middle of March. So for almost 4 months. And all the science and all the data and all the reporting makes it look like we're going to be working on this quarantine project for at least another few more months and maybe longer. Workers are dealing with offices being closed and having to work from home, or with having to go into work in places that might not be as safe as they'd like them to be. Parents dealt with distance learning once the schools closed in the spring, and many parents are stressed out about what's going to happen this fall if we don't end up with kids back in school. Almost everyone is worried about and dealing with how to venture out into the world, where to go, and how to keep ourselves as safe as possible when we do go. Many public places have been closed, and those that are open are requiring that masks be worn by folks who go in there. And alongside all of the quarantining, our society is addressing issues of racism. Black Lives Matter movement is fairly significant these days. We're addressing issues of racism through questions about whether statues and monuments should remain up, which ones should be taken down, and through the response to the reality that Native people in this land have often been treated poorly by our government and by society at large. And there's too many other issues of racism in our country that I have time to name right now. Suffice it to say, at least for me, it's a lot. It's a lot for our society to have to address. It's a lot for any one individual to be able to keep in front of their consciousness all the time. Now, don't get me wrong. These are important issues for us as a society to wrestle with. It's important for us to address the questions of protest and government intervention and all that. It's important for us to address questions of science and disease and the way it spreads and all that. But still, it's a lot for any one individual to keep right in front of their consciousness at all times. And so as important as these societal issues are for us to recognize, it's even more important that we as Christians take seriously and speak up about the things, especially the justice issues that we see in this world as we strive to make real God's promise of justice for all people. So it's important that we recognize and address issues of racism. It's important that we recognize and address issues of justice as far as disease prevention or spread in our world. And at the same time, as today's psalm reminds us, it's good to take a Sabbath from time to time. Indeed, God commands us that we take a Sabbath from time to time. For as we take Sabbath, as we take a break from all of these things that are appropriately occupying our time and our energy, as we take Sabbath, we allow ourselves to take a break and to become refreshed and renewed so that we can continue the next day to do God's good work. And more importantly, as we allow ourselves to take Sabbath, we allow ourselves to know the deeper truth that no matter what, all of creation is in God's care. And the world continues in God's care even when we do take Sabbath. So we take Sabbath, and we rest, and we renew ourselves in God's presence. And then we get up, and we go out, and we work again for justice for all God's people. Thanks be to God.